Podcast 3, Toxicity in Our Everyday Life.
Welcome to the Healing Revolution podcast, where we challenge the status quo of conventional healthcare and explore boundless potential of holistic healing. I'm your host, Isabel.
And I'm your other host, Nicole.
Here we'll delve into the power of neuroscience, the wisdom of ancient Chinese medicine, the intricacies of epigenetics, and the profound impact of nutrition and spiritual mentoring. Join us as we uncover the secrets of holistic health, empower you with knowledge, and inspire you to take control of your well-being. This is more than a podcast, it's a revolution in how we understand and achieve health. Let's embark on this journey together and revolutionize the way we heal. So today we're going to talk about toxicity in our everyday life. So basically just talking about toxic products. I think we wanted to start this podcast because a lot of articles and a lot of stuff that we've been seeing has been circulating about like the toxicity in tampons and how toilet paper is toxic and all this stuff. So we want to kind of get down that rabbit hole and discuss it.
I'm going to do a little disclaimer, okay? So we are very much contaminated. Our air, our water, our food, our carpets, our toilet paper, our tampons, our fabrics, everything.
Carpet.
There's literally off-gassing in carpets and mattresses now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The paint, I think a lot of people are aware of like paint is toxic, but
yeah, everything is so toxic. So I'm just going to start off by saying, take this with a grain of salt. You don't have to uproot your whole entire lifestyle right off the bat. It can be overwhelming. Just start, the best place to start is start with your food. So yeah,
I would say definitely start with food if you're going to start anywhere. But also it took me, I'm pretty non-toxic at this point. There's still stuff that I can do better. It is a lot more effort, but your health is more important than anything. So I think the effort is very worth it.
And before you get mad, don't get mad at us. Get mad at the people that are actually poisoning us.
Yeah, I didn't poison anybody.
No, people will get. I remember I got like a hate comment. I got a few hate comments a while ago when I made a video about like the toxins that in our food. I made a whole post about the chemicals they put in these plant milks, and they parade it as like this healthy, like food, like healthy thing.
Yeah.
And so, like, people got mad at me for saying like, oh my gosh, like we can't do anything, like I'm tired of all this information, like these fear mongering. We're not fear mongering.
Yeah,
this is information for you to know, for you to be empowered so that you can do something about it. I don't support like a lot of different businesses, and by businesses I mean like the big Target and that kind of thing, because of what they do to our food.
yeah no, I don't want this podcast to come off as fear mongering, because Nicole and I do everything out of faith, and when you have faith over fear. So I'm not trying to instill fear in anybody, but in order to heal, there is a point where you do need to be aware of how toxic everything is, or else you can't really heal if you're not aware.
Yeah.
So the first part of healing is admitting that there's something wrong and not having that kind of cognitive dissonance when somebody presents evidence to you and you reject it just because it's not what you want to hear. You're not going to heal if you have that.
No, yeah, exactly. I'd rather just get mad at the people that are poisoning us.
Yeah.
It's a revolution for a reason.
Yeah, this is the healing revolution because we're trying to empower you.
With that being said,
yeah,
what prompted us is because we were talking about how there's a bunch of articles, and I saw it all over social media, that tampons and other feminine products have all these toxic chemicals that harm our reproductive health. And I'm going to pull up the article for you so that nobody thinks I'm lying. And this is an article from Berkeley Public Health. Okay, it says tampons from several brands that potentially millions of people use each month can contain toxic metals like lead, arsenic, and cadmium. A new study led by a UC Berkeley researcher has found. And I've gotten questions, what even is cadmium? People have asked me that before. Cadmium is a toxic heavy metal that has been known to cause cancer, specifically breast cancer and ovarian. So disgusting.
Impressive.
I'm like so passionate about this, it makes me so angry.
Well, it's insane because people are, Nicole and I were just saying, it's like the people that are like, oh my god, how could this happen, like why is it in so many products, like we can't win, the world is against us and all this stuff. It's like, this is so intentional. It's not like this was just like an accident.
No.
Like all these toxic things just happen to like be on the market, and all these recalls, like the fake recalls where they'll recall it and not fix anything and then just put it back out. It's like, this is so beyond intentional, it's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
It was like this from the start. It's just been getting worse as time has gone on, but
You know
it's
how
always been bad.
do you know the brand Honey Pot?
Yes, I do.
Well, I loved their feminine wash. Okay, I thought it was nice. I
I
liked
used to
that
use that.
it was
Yeah.
so clean. It had like four ingredients, and one of it
Mhm.
was like apple cider vinegar, lavender, whatever. And they sold to a bigger company because it was a small, like, woman-owned business. They
Mhm.
sold to a bigger company, and if you look at the ingredients now, it's like a big
A
paragraph.
lot different.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing, like, kids that are being like becoming sick and having like autoimmune stuff, and it's like, well, they just ate the same thing that I ate growing up. It's like, well, it's not the same as it
Mm-mm.
was 40 years ago, even 20 years ago. All this stuff, like a hot dog, even McDonald's, it's not the same as it was 20 years ago. It's like they used
No.
to use tallow with McDonald's. Like they fried things in tallow. Do you know what you're eating at McDonald's now? It's literally, it doesn't qualify as food. It
Motor
does,
oil.
it's not even the seed oil that they cook it in, but it doesn't even qualify as food because of how toxic it is. So it's like you getting sick from McDonald's now and you didn't back then, and you can't figure out like why. It's because
hmm
it's not the same. Nothing
Right.
is the same as it used to be. It's gotten worse and worse progressively
hmm
as the years have gone on.
Oh, it's
And
gotten so bad. And like, we wonder why. This is a real statistic. 1 in 4 people have some sort of autoimmune condition,
I
whether
don't
it's
know how you
allergies.
couldn't.
Yeah.
If you don't have a health condition, whether it's like an autoimmune, either anxiety, depression, like any type of health issue, what's your secret? Like I
Literally.
don't know. That's crazy. If you're unaffected at this time, like that's
And
wild.
when we were growing up, I don't know if like this was the case for you, but like I remember there was maybe like one kid at the peanut free table.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now it's like every kid has some sort of issue. And there is like a huge rise in kids with autism and ADHD. And you cannot convince me it's not because of what they put in the food.
yeah. You cannot convince me otherwise. I think the biggest link between like autism and ADHD, anxiety, depression, I think it's heavy metal toxicity.
hmm
And which tampons have heavy metals in it, your water has heavy metals in it, all the baby food has heavy metals in it.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
Gerber.
yeah, Gerber got a huge lawsuit, huge recall, and nothing was done about it. They were taken to court. Nothing has been done. No products have been changed.
Mm,
There's
that's
a
so messed up.
insane heavy metals in the baby food. The baby formula, if you look at the ingredients in formula, you don't want your child drinking that, and that's their main source
Yeah.
of sustenance, nutrients, up until they're 6 months old, longer for a lot of people. But you're feeding your baby absolute chemicals. Like, it's illegal to sell baby formula in the United States without seed oils in it.
I saw
Did
that
you know seed oils lower your IQ significantly?
because they're trans fats. And like, so people like their whole, like the fat debate back in the 90s, everybody decided to go low fat and thinking it was a good idea, but then they
Mm-hmm.
realized that they had brain fog and like an influx of all these different
You'll get
neurodegenerative diseases.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, this influx of neurodegenerative diseases.
Yeah.
The only fat, I should say, that causes brain degeneration is trans fat.
Mm-hmm.
Because what it does is it causes your brain cells to stick together and physically slow down. So your brain function literally slows down by a lot.
Yeah. It's super scary.
Also, sorry.
I know you're good.
Red dye 40?
Yes.
Red dye 40 shuts down one of the like 6 or 7 liver pathways that actually helps with brain function.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you shut down that pathway, you shut down literal brain function.
Yeah.
So that's why like kids that have like anger issues and all these like behavioral problems, they immediately go away within 28 to 48 hours of removing red dye from their diet.
That is so wild. Just open your eyes. Like, if you see a kid who has the standard American diet, is eating, Skittles and gummy bears and whatever else, Nesquik,
Yum.
like strawberry milk, like literally just normal kid food. You look at their behavior, and then you take a kid who eats their parents' diet, eats really clean.
Mm,
The kids who eat well are very well behaved. They're not hyperactive. They're not bouncing off the walls. They're not having screaming tantrums. I work with kids, so I see it very clearly, but most parents, like, they don't make the correlation at all because they don't have this information. Not that they don't have this information, but it's not like their priority, or it's not something they've ever paid attention to.
Mm-hmm.
But me having this information prior to working with kids and then seeing it in children, I'm like, holy crap.
It's
Like,
so scary.
it is really scary
I couldn't
because I'm like,
imagine being a teacher, like a child care provider right now because of like how messed up it is. Even I was a dance teacher for a year and I couldn't stand it because like there was particularly this one girl who had like she just was not a good kid. She just caused so many problems. She was so disruptive. You couldn't tell her anything. She didn't care. There was like a disconnect with her. It disrupted the whole rhythm of the class because they saw that she would get away with all this stuff. And but she would come into class and be like, "Oh, my mom just got me McDonald's and I just had a bag of Skittles." And I'm like, "No wonder why you're, off the walls cuz she
yeah.
eats so bad."
Yeah, and it's like you can't get mad at those kids. They don't know any better. It's
No,
like they're just their bodies are reacting to something that is so toxic and so disruptive for their brain and their nervous systems and everything. It's like it's not that child's fault, but get them on a better diet and they'll be a different kid.
literally.
Yeah.
It's so true.
It's so sad because it could save a lot of families. Like,
Mhm.
there's so many families that are dealing with some serious behavioral issues in their young children, and it's really scary as a parent. Like,
Yeah.
super, super scary because just as a parent, you want your child to thrive.
The parents need to be educated on it big time. And I
Absolutely.
think like when people ask, well, then what can I eat? What can I do? There's a lot you can do. And honestly, it's a lot simpler than people make it out to be. They're like, oh, I can't have anything. Honestly, just go back to like biblical days. What did they eat? Fruits, vegetables, meat.
Yeah,
It was very simple. They didn't have all these like added things because we're such a consumerist based society that we think
exactly.
that we need everything.
I was just going to say that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really simple. It's not as complicated as people make it out to be. It's just eat whole foods. And whole
Can
foods are just fruits, vegetables, anything that has a single ingredient you can have.
just don't like stay. They always say this. This is, we're not saying any new information. Just don't go in the aisles of the grocery store. Have you heard that thing where it's like shop the perimeter of the grocery store, where it's just like your Whole Foods
Except the
and
bakery.
yeah, yeah, aside from the bakery, they sprinkled that in just to
Yeah.
confuse you. Um but yeah, just eat like that. And if I used to pay attention to this a lot because it used to overwhelm me in middle school and high school when I wanted to just eat normal food like a normal kid, but it was making me sick and I was extremely frustrated because I just wanted a piece of pizza without,
Feeling like you're going to be on the verge of
yeah,
death.
without like getting brain fog for 2 weeks.
Literally. Well, Dr. Mark Hyman says the produce aisle should be your pharmacy.
Yeah. Oh, so if you can't pronounce the ingredients on the back of your food, if you have no idea what those ingredients are, don't eat them.
If this is your new mantra, if you can't read it, don't eat it.
Exactly, exactly. And it's so crazy because now I live a very simple life. Like, if I wouldn't even have social media if it wasn't for like business purposes. Like, my main
Same.
account, I don't use at all. I've deleted it multiple times or inactivated it multiple times. And it's like, I have such clarity when I just like don't care. When I took social media out of my life, that's when my life really changed.
Mm.
Because my life became much more simple after that. My lifestyle became very simple. My diet was simple. My products were simple. And it's just such a refreshing way to live, and I'll never go back to being like a heavy consumer because it
There's
was
no
just
need for it.
there's no need. It's just you're
Those products and things that people on TikTok try to sell you that like they swear will change your life, they're lying. It's you really don't need 975 different vacuums and 373 different, scrubby brush whatever they're selling. I see all these
yeah.
different things. Like you really like I don't know. I
Get
it's
one scrub daddy.
one scrub daddy.
Use one brand of soap. You don't need a million different things.
No, Branch Basics is a really good non-toxic cleaning company.
Oh, nice.
They have all non-toxic cleaning supplies pretty much, and I think it's all one ingredient.
Baking soda, vinegar.
That'll whiten your sheets.
Yeah, I mean, it's teeth whitening too. Hydrogen peroxide.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you can really simplify your life, and it's not as overwhelming. But also, it's taken us years to kind of simplify our lives. Like, I didn't do it all in one day. It's taken years to get to this point. Like, I kind of, Nicole and I were just saying, we kind of started with food, then moved to like skincare and all that stuff, makeup, and then, cleaning
Yeah.
products. It's like it was baby steps.
Yeah, like I didn't uproot my whole life.
No.
It started because I got sick. So I
Yeah.
changed my whole diet and that took me about a year to really like solidify like what is good, what isn't. I just switched to all organic.
Took me 10 years to figure out my
Really?
diet. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
kept going back, and then every time I went back, I got sick again. So I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, this is a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. It's not a diet.
It's a
It's
hard
a
pill to swallow, but it's a lifestyle.
yeah, and once you kind of wrap your brain on like this is a lifestyle, your body has what it needs to be able to support itself. If you were to go on like, it's Christmas and you want to have a piece of pie, whatever. That is your like but for the most part this is your lifestyle and people say, well, it's just a little bit of aluminum, it's just a little bit of Teflon, it's just a little bit of blah 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 blah. And they say, well, it's in the FDA's, it's written by the FDA, it says it's in safe amounts. But they're saying it's in safe amounts, but if you're eating it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or you're consuming it through your hair care, your skin care, anything else,
The
is that really safe anymore?
Also, I just want to say the FDA is
Oh, I know.
completely pointless.
They're a joke.
They're a joke. They are also the ones poisoning you because they let this pass and they know what's going on and they still let it pass.
The European Union bans over 1,100 ingredients, and the US bans like 10 ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this brand that I want to bring in that they follow the European Union standards of health. So I want to bring in that supplement company because like they're so good.
Yeah, and something that I struggled with when I first started going non-toxic is I would hear cases of people who also fixed their diet and also went this like very holistic route and still ended up with cancer. And I had a hard time wrapping my brain around that because I'm like, they did everything right and they still got sick. And like, how does that work? And I'm like, oh, and that overwhelmed me a lot. And I'm like, but it's everywhere. It's because it's in everything.
Right.
It's like,
And that's the other thing, like that goes back to what we were talking about last week, is if you are doing everything right, and if you like, this was my revelation recently, if you're doing everything right, you're taking care of your diet, you're taking care of your supplements, you're doing everything right on that end, and you still aren't feeling good, or you're still like you still get a really bad diagnosis, that's where it is not physical anymore. You have to start looking at things differently because it's not in the physical. Chances are it's a spiritual root cause that is driving your diagnosis, your signs, your symptoms, whatever it is.
yeah, like unexplained illnesses and all that for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Because my stomach stopped working. A lot of it had to do with food, but it still wasn't fixed after I fixed the food, It was
Yeah.
still a very prevalent issue even when I was eating clean. And it took a really long time to fix that. But it wasn't until I got my mental and spiritual well-being in check when things started to turn around.
It's all connected.
Yeah, like
One of them is awful.
I was just telling Nicole, like my healing journey really, really took off when I found my faith again, because this world is definitely like not, we're not supposed to win. You know what I mean? Like in this industrialized world, it's not made for you to win. It's made for the corporations. We live in a corporate world. The corporations are the one benefiting from us being sick and in fear. And that's the way it will stay until you find faith and until you heal and until you heal other people.
So I'm going to read you a list of common ingredients that are in our food. I might butcher some of them.
That's fine.
Carrageenan. It's an extract from seaweed. It's a thickener and a gelling agent, and it's highly inflammatory and can cause digestive issues. And then recent research has found that it is carcinogenic. Carabine and locust bean, cellulose gum, gellan gum, guar gum, xanthan gum, sodium nitrate, sulfites. I don't even think I can pronounce this one. It's found in bagels and buns and can cause asthma. It's called azodicarbonamide. Did I do it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Potassium bromate. It's known to cause thyroid cancer.
It's in all your food.
All of your breads and pastries.
Yep.
Propyl gallate, BHA, BHT, which actually there was a study on rats where with the BHT ingredient, and it made them severely obese. Propylene glycol, which is in a lot more things than you would think. It's also known as antifreeze. It thickens dairy products and salad dressings. It's deemed generally safe by the FDA.
You're feeding your kids antifreeze, by the way.
Did you know? So recently I was in the grocery store and I was looking for sweetened coconut flakes.
Oh, cool.
Okay, sweetened coconut. You would think like
I
it just
haven't
has.
eaten those in a long time. I used to love that when I was a kid.
Yeah, I like to sprinkle them on things.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had them in a long time, and I like saw a recipe, and I was like, oh, I need to get that from the store next time I'm there. So I go to the grocery store, I look for sweetened coconut flakes, and I read the ingredients, and it has propylene glycol in there.
I love that.
So I didn't get them.
That's so disappointing. It's like you feed that stuff to your kids and then wonder why that they're not listening to you.
Literally. Like they can't
Because
hear
their
you.
brains aren't working.
Butane, it's in chicken nuggets to keep them tasting fresh. It's a known carcinogen.
That's insane because butane is also the stuff in Pam spray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, have you seen that meme? Not even a meme. It's a video of this guy. He's like, you're spraying butane and lighter fluid on your children's hotcakes.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so butane is literally just lighter fluid. It like in the Pam spray, you know, that you spray all your food with before you cook it. So you're spraying lighter fluid on Teflon pans and getting a double whammy, and yeah, it's destroying the lining of your gut.
You're basically just asking for it.
Yeah, and I mean,
That's messed up.
that is what it is.
I don't use Pam. I use spray. Or if I have to like spray a pan, which I don't, I use like olive oil or tallow. But if I use
still
like the
use
spray
butter.
stuff, I get the one that's from. I think you can get it at Aldi, but you can also get it at Shaw's. It's just like sprayed coconut oil.
Oh, that's good. But how do they compress it so it sprays? Because that's what they put the butane in, so to get that like pressurized effect.
I don't know.
Yeah, look at
That's
the
a good
ingredients
question.
because that's why it's in a can, like an aerosol can. You have to have, and it's in hair products too, hairspray, all of that stuff. If it's in an aerosol can, they need like butane, like lighter fluid to get it to come out. You know?
And you're spraying that on your hair?
Yeah,
So
so
your hair could be so easily flammable.
exactly. So like stay, but also you're eating it. So stay
Yummy.
away from that.
All of us are just flammable.
Literally, yeah.
That's crazy.
We're all inflamed, we're all flammable.
Yeah, no wonder why you get sunburnt so easily.
Maybe that's why spontaneous combustion is the thing.
Stop. I found out what that was recently and I didn't sleep for a whole night.
Is that a real thing?
Mhm.
Maybe that's why, because we're all full of lighter fluid.
That's actually a good hypothesis.
I'm
Somebody prove it. Somebody tell us if that's true.
all these conspiracy theories that you're seeing, I'm the one behind the keyboard making them.
You're in your like mom's basement.
Literally. Everybody's like, don't believe all the conspiracy theories that you hear. I'm like, I'm the one coming up with them.
I believe every single one. Anything you tell me. Okay. Monosodium glutamate, which most of us know about, it's MSG. It's a flavor enhancer. It can cause headaches. It's linked in animal studies to nerve damage, heart problems, and seizures. Disodium inosinate, it's in snack foods, contains MSG. Disodium guanylate, same thing. Enriched flour, it's a refined starch that's made from toxic ingredients. You might see it on your packages of food as RBGH, recombinant bovine growth hormone. That's what RBGH is. It's a genetically engineered version of natural growth hormone in cows. It boosts milk production in cows, contains high levels of IGF-1, which is thought to cause various types of cancer. And then, of course, there's your refined vegetable oils like soybean oil, corn oil, safflower, canola, peanut oil. They're high in omega-6 fats and are thought to cause heart disease and cancer, which, according to the CDC and the FDA and all these other whatever, they will tell you otherwise. Sodium benzoate, I see this in a lot of different things, but it actually causes damage to your DNA. Brominated vegetable oil, propyl gallate, olestra.
And guess what? If you're damaging your DNA, your kid's DNA will also be damaged.
Yep. Yeah, it passes down.
Yep.
Oh my god, I could keep going. Chlorine dioxide, parabens, carnauba wax, aluminum, saccharin, aspartame, high fructose corn syrup, acesulfame potassium.
Can we go back to aspartame?
Mm-hmm.
So that is a known carcinogen, and it can cause dizziness, headaches, blurred vision, and stomach problems. Aspartame is in a lot of sodas, and it's linked that like pregnant people who drink soda with aspartame in it, it's like a direct link to having an autistic child.
Yeah, it literally says it's an excitotoxin.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother actually still puts saccharin in her coffee. She has to buy it online because they don't sell it in stores anymore. She's 89. Anyways, she has severe gut issues though.
Well, there you go.
Yep. Acesulfame Potassium is used with other artificial sweeteners in diet sodas and ice cream. It's linked to lung and breast tumors in rats.
Interesting.
Sucralose causes swelling of the liver and kidneys and a shrinkage of the thymus gland. Actually, my mom, I remember she would take like Splenda sometimes when I was growing up, and she would break out into hives.
Really?
This one might shock people. Agave nectar. It says that it contains high levels of fructose, which causes insulin resistance, liver disease, and inflammation of body tissues.
That's exactly what I heard, so I stay away from it. I honestly, if I'm going to sweeten something, I use honey or maple syrup.
Or date syrup. Have you ever tried it?
I have tried it.
I love it. I love dates though.
Honestly, maple syrup is like my favorite thing. I'll put maple syrup on anything. I love maple syrup.
Like in the Elf movie where he put it on his spaghetti.
I will put maple syrup on anything.
It is good.
Oh my god, it's so good.
We're almost done with this list. Red dye 40, blue number 1, blue number 2, citrus red number 1, citrus red number 2. All of these, by the way, cause cancer and tumors and all that fun stuff. Green number 3, yellow number 5, yellow number 6, red number 2, red number 3.
All the colors. If it's a color, just don't.
Caramel coloring. When made with ammonia, it can cause cancer in mice. Food companies are not required to disclose if this ingredient is made with ammonia. Brown HT, Bixin, Norbixin, and annatto. That's a long list.
That is a really long list. But honestly, I'm sure that's not even half of it.
No, I pulled this list and I created my own from what I like researched, and then I send it to my clients.
Wow.
Because
That's great.
I don't send it to every client because I don't want to overwhelm them right off the bat.
Yeah.
But if they're like pretty dialed in, I'll send it to them.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not having too much of an issue with the diet change and everything, then I think that's really helpful. But if the diet change is something that's super overwhelming, that is also overwhelming, you know?
Yeah.
But if you cannot pronounce it and you don't know where it came from on the ingredients list, do not eat it because it's poison and it will cause cancer.
Period. If you can't read it, don't eat it.
Yeah.
That should be a commercial. We should create a commercial.
We should. We absolutely should. And another thing, which I always say, I don't know if I said it in the last podcast, but it applies to everything. And I say it, I find myself saying it so much, but universal truth is not measured in mass appeal.
So no, I loved when you said that. You told me that like right when I needed to hear it.
It's so true to like it. In every aspect of my life I use it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what keeps me on the right path and on the right track to know that like what I'm doing is true even when I get resistance from other people. So I live my life very simple. My diet is very simple, the products I use are very simple. Like I live just a very simple life and I love it and I'm so happy, and I'm not stressed. I don't deal with stress. Like, I mean, obviously I have like normal stress that everybody goes through, family, job, money. Like I deal with all that type of stress, but I don't have like stress of being in a toxic environment and like being around toxic people and all that stuff. But the way that I live my life, I'm not hurting anybody. Like all I want to do is help everybody. Like that's like I mind my business and I'll help you, like whatever. That's how I live my life. And I get so much resistance on how I live my life. And it's so funny because my boyfriend and I live very simple lives. Like we're very like-minded. Everybody has something to say about the way that we live.
Seriously?
Everybody has something to say. They tear us apart over the way that we eat our food, what we eat. Like it's just insane how much resistance we get, and like it doesn't bother us because we're thriving.
So they're the type of people that have like 75 different diagnoses,
yeah,
and all these like different symptoms,
crippling anxiety and all that stuff,
and then they're like pounding back like the hot cakes and
because we both notice it, and it's like we get it from like both sides, like my side and his side, just how much resistance we get for trying to be the best versions of ourselves. And it's so wild because if I see somebody who's trying to better themselves, you know, going to the gym every day, or, you know, eating really healthy, going to church, like trying to be a good person and the best version of themselves, why would I ever try to tear them down or like say something bad about them doing good for themselves?
That reminded me. There's a saying that says a bodybuilder won't judge you for working out, a millionaire won't judge you for starting a business, an NBA player won't judge you for playing ball. It's always the low-life losers who have something to say.
Exactly. If you're on a healing journey, do not listen to anybody who's not trying to better themselves in any way.
Right. Like if you're trying to better yourself, especially in the realm of toxicity, if you are trying to eat better because you know that it's not good that they're putting these chemicals in our food, and then people are going to come at you for that and they're telling you that it's okay to eat poison, they're not your friends.
No, they're not your friends. Like,
They're
if
not your
I know that, like, so say one of my friends is trying not to drink alcohol. Actually, no, I'll just say it for myself. So I try not to drink alcohol. I will have it occasionally, but I don't drink that much. Like, I'll have one drink once a month, maybe, if that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but most of the time I'm going like 6 months without anything. It seems like me not drinking alcohol really bothers other people.
Yeah, like why should that bother them?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
I think it's great. Like I always admire people that are sober. I don't really drink. I have like a drink maybe twice a year if I'm lucky. But like, I don't really surround myself with people that drink a lot, so I don't get that kind of backlash. But I have been in situations back in college where like people that didn't want to drink, they would get crapped on for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was not cool. It was
Like
not
how
cool
dare
at
you
all.
like be sober? Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I noticed when I stopped drinking after I got IC, I like wasn't able to because it's so inflammatory. So like if you're dealing with inflammation, don't drink because it's literally the major cause of inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So it was something I had to do for health reasons, and then I just realized like how much better off I am without it. And I think a lot of people who go down that route like feel the same way.
Let's talk about Trader Joe's.
Oh,
I'm excited for you to tell me about this because I didn't look
Joe's.
into it. I wanted you to tell me.
Okay, so Spencer will be so excited. I'm like shouting him out. So my boyfriend works in food manufacturing, and Trader Joe's was the grocery store that was closest to me when I lived in Watertown. And I felt so crappy when I shopped at Trader Joe's because I was under the impression that it was healthier.
I thought that up until last week when you told me that it wasn't.
Yeah, I was so under the impression that it was healthier, so I strayed from my simple diet because I was like, oh, these different package, like this must be better for you. So I would eat junk that was in package because I'm like, oh, Trader Joe's snacks are so healthy. So I was just feeling really crappy after eating Trader Joe's food. I was like, had that like tire belly, which I normally don't have. I only have that when I'm eating gross food.
Tire belly is crazy.
Yeah, it's like no matter how you work out, how often you work out, and how clean you think you're eating, and it's not going away. So when I moved from Watertown and stopped shopping at Trader Joe's, I was so much healthier. Like all that like weird inflammation weight went away, and I was just like not craving anything. I was just good. My diet went back to being so simple again. So Trader Joe's is a total scam, basically, is what I'm a roundabout way of saying that Trader Joe's is a scam. They basically just repackage all the same food from your generic grocery store, your what are the
Didn't you
Stop
say?
and Shop, all those
Yeah,
places.
didn't you say like they take like a whole, like how like you can get like the store bought smoothies?
Yeah, so Naked Juice, like the standard Naked Juice, the Trader Joe's sells like a mango smoothie, and you think it's healthy. It's just a Naked Juice repackaged. It's the same exact ingredients, but worse actually.
Mm.
Because they take the ingredients and then add some extra ones. But it's just the same thing as a Naked
It's like
Juice.
close to expiring, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's why Trader Joe's is cheaper because it's close to expiring, so that's why they lower the price. But it's the same food just about to expire, and they repackage it. Like Trader
They
Joe's is
repackage it and then add like preservatives, don't they?
yeah, they add more preservatives. It is the biggest scam in the entire. Please don't sue me, Trader Joe's.
Okay, well I'm gonna read this from USA Today. I don't know how credible USA Today is, but it says on the title, this is from September 1st, 2023. Trader Joe's keeps issuing recalls, rocks, insects, metals in our food. Is it time to worry?
It is time to worry. It's been time to worry.
It says, this week Trader Joe's alerted customers that Texas tamale company Gourmet Black Bean Tamales may contain undeclared milk. Previously, it pulled multigrain crackers that may contain metal, 2 different kinds of cookies that may contain rocks, and broccoli cheddar soup and cookie falafel that may contain insects. Trader
Okay.
Joe's has urged customers to discard the recalled products or return them for a full refund. Again, this was in September of 2023.
Yeah, I mean that's not even the whole. Like I think Trader Joe's is just like so deceiving. because it's cheaper prices and the packaging makes it look like it's healthier, but it's actually worse for you and it's close to expiring. So they add a bunch of preservatives. But, the potato chips, Trader Joe's potato chips are literally just
I love their
generic
potato
potato
chips
chips.
that are made with olive oil, though.
Yeah, I mean,
They're so good.
just look at the ingredients. If it's like avocado oil, fine, sure, eat it. It's fine. Oh, but so my boyfriend works in food manufacturing, and basically, so he eats super healthy. And I mean, he has to go into the food plants and see how food's made. Like, he's an engineer that builds the robots that package food. And yeah, he's seen how the food's made and he doesn't touch anything. He eats very simple because you see what
He's
goes.
traumatized.
Yeah, he sees what goes behind closed door, like behind the scenes, and it's disgusting. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's scary. I want to ask so many questions.
yeah. I
Does he tell you all the secrets?
I mean, he'll send me videos of like mass produced food and all that stuff, and it's not very appealing.
It's even like the frozen fruit that you buy at the grocery store. They spray it with chlorine.
Like, do
You
you know
ever
how
watch the
toxic
how it's?
chlorine is?
Yeah, literally, it destroys your thyroid, destroys your
It's
endocrine
also in
system.
the water.
Yep, destroys your endocrine system. If you look up on YouTube how it's made, there's a whole channel on like how it's made. You can literally see how like anything is made. Like,
That I used to love that show. It used to be on TV. Maybe it still is on TV. I don't
I don't
know.
know. Some of the videos are short; they're like 10 minutes. But there was a video on how frozen fruit is made and how like literally from the farm all the way to like how it's given to you in the store, and like they spray it with chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that also means non-organic, but I remember after I watched that video, I went to the grocery store and I looked at the back of the ingredients of the frozen fruit, and it didn't have any of those chemicals listed.
Interesting.
So it'll say like if you buy like non-organic frozen mangoes and you read the back, it doesn't say that it was sprayed with chlorine. They don't tell you. They don't disclose that information.
Interesting. That is super interesting, actually.
I don't know. It makes me so mad.
It is frustrating. But like, we are animals. We're not these industrial beings. As our society progresses, like we're turning into AI robots at this point. Like, our life is so industrialized. Like, this we carry around, like, I get stressed out when my phone is not near me, which is like
Same.
so gross. It's so stupid, and it makes me so angry that I
Mhm.
have to have a cell phone.
It's like a crutch.
Like, I can't live my life without a cell phone, and that makes me really sad and uncomfortable because I don't want to raise my kids with phones. I don't want an iPad kid. Like,
I know. I was thinking about that recently because like talking about toxins, I mean the blue light was specifically invented to. Can I even say this on this podcast?
I don't know. I don't want to get canceled, but do it.
I'm scared.
I don't want to get canceled within like the third episode, but
Listen, this what I'm about to say is conspiracy, so it might not be true, but do your own research.
everything is our opinion. Don't sue me,
Based
Trader
on
Joe's.
education.
Please don't sue me.
I heard, okay, allegedly, allegedly, the blue light was invented for brain control.
Probably.
So I guess it emits a certain frequency, or it does something to the brain that signals like. Do you notice when a kid is in front of a TV, they're almost in a trance?
Oh my god, yes.
That's like I'm trying. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what it does.
I'm a nanny, and when I turn Mickey Mouse on, I'm not even kidding. The kids are not the kids anymore. Like, they'll be so crazy, like screaming, crying. As soon as I turn the TV on, they're like,
Yeah,
and
mouth
I'm like,
open.
what?
Like,
Yeah, it's like weird.
Mhm.
It kind of scares me.
Yeah, they're in a trance. So blue light was invented to essentially control the minds of human beings.
That's wild.
And I was like, and I read that and I was like, it makes sense because like I've been, like watched movies and stuff and like I've been so invested. And like I watch kids now and they're like in such a trance when they look at the TV. Like and I notice because it's like an easy way out, and I totally understand. Like when your kid's crying and they're upset, they just throw their kid their phone or their iPad and they immediately calm down.
Yeah, trust me, I get it. Like, I nanny 2 baby twins and they're crazy. They're crazy.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to raise my kids like watching all that stuff because I don't want them to like have brain issues.
No, I don't want to do that either. But it's tough because I do want to set a good example, and at this point, I'm just gonna be Amish, like,
No,
because I do want to set a good example. Like, I can't say my kid can't use social media if I'm on my phone. If I use social media, and it's tough because like with businesses and work, it's like you have to.
Yeah.
So it's like, what kind of world are we living in? So, to segue back into non toxic living,
we're going to end this podcast by giving you some practical, non toxic tips.
starting with eat organic, eat natural foods, whole foods, fruits, vegetables, meat, poultry, just as organic as you can get it. Go to local farmers if you can, if that's accessible to you. That's honestly,
Unprocessed, unpackaged foods as much as possible.
so that's a good way to get a non toxic diet, but then non toxic living.
It's a good way to start. Start with your diet. You know what? Like, don't worry about anything else. Start with cleaning up your diet and then move to the other things like, drink filtered water. That's a perfect next step after you figure out your food is get a filter on your sink or get a filter on the base of your house. Have filtered water running through your house.
Yeah, if you don't have well water, then, just invest in a shower filter, sink filter.
Yeah.
Your skin will actually be a lot better. Your hair texture will be a lot better.
Yeah, a lot
I think it's
softer.
definitely worth it for sure.
And then from there, if you want to get into the nitty gritty, start looking at the stuff that you're using for your hygiene products. Like use a fluoride free toothpaste. We'll talk all about fluoride in a separate episode.
Yeah.
But, get a healthy toothpaste that doesn't have all those added ingredients. Then start moving to like your hair care, your body soap, your skincare, your makeup, your household items like laundry detergents. Some great brands that I like is Branch Basics. What's the other one? Molly's Suds. They have some good ones. They have like non-toxic dishwashing pods, dishwasher pods, whatever.
Yeah, that's a big one. The dishwasher pods, very toxic because it leaves a chemical residue on your dishes that put holes in your gut.
How exciting.
Yeah, so not to
What
scare
else?
you, but
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. But I would definitely start with the diet because you can't heal if you're eating junk. So food is medicine. Start with the food and then, segue to other aspects of your life.
There's so much to cover. Everything's toxic.
Yep, but it doesn't mean that you can't find joy in going non-toxic because it is fun.
It is fun. I like it. I
Yeah.
love like using things that are like raw and like real. You can feel and notice the difference.
Yeah, once you get over like the resistance of, letting go, it can be really fun. So
I like it.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to wrap this up, but thank you for listening to the Healing Revolution podcast, and we'll see you next week.